Hi, this is Nick from Turnip Starfish. Today I'm going to draw you a quick drawing of an orc. I'm starting off with the simple shapes, as I always do. So I've done for a simple shape of a head, circle, and then a box shape for the main body. I'm doodling these shapes really quickly just to get a basic structure before I get to any detail. So you can see my fingers are just sausages, and the feet are just triangles. I'm just using basic building blocks for the arms and the legs. It really doesn't matter if you get this wrong at this stage, it's just kind of having some fun. This drawing took about just under half an hour, and I've sped it up 5 times, so it's about 5 minutes long. So hopefully you don't get too bored. On my head, I've broken down the face with centre lines, and I've given my orc a big, rugged, square nose, so that's quite important. So I've thought about the main trunk of the nose and the box of the nose. I've worked over my rough drawings and to build up the detail, and I can tell that my head was too big for my orc, so I've adjusted it now to make my body much bigger. But you can still see when I'm drawing the arms, I'm really just drawing the basic shape. So I'm drawing a shoulder muscle, the top arm muscle, and the lower arm muscle. I'm not getting too worried about any detail at that stage. I'm just kind of drawing in these shapes and feeling how it flows. Now I'm playing with the head. I'm getting a bit more detailed. I'm just adding my form to my head by adding some few lines that think about the shape of the head. So I'm thinking about a light source coming in from one side, and I'm thinking about how that creates a shadow on the other side. So I'm trying to think about the head like a big sphere. So I'm just thinking about it as an object. I'm building up my detail on my fingers. No, they were just sausages before, so I'm just thinking about the plane of the fingernail, so like a flat plane. So I'm drawing the fingernail on the top of that, and I'm just suggesting the knuckles. You see, I just do a little squiggle that suggests each knuckle, and I find that as a quick doodle works really nicely. Again, I'm rescaling this drawing, kind of getting it working. Now, you could be doing this in a sketchbook. You could just follow along. You can press the pause button on the video anytime you want, and you can just draw a bit more, or you could draw it digitally, of course. I hope you're enjoying it anyway. I draw quite a lot, so at the moment I'm shortcutting and just drawing in the shapes of the legs and the feet quite quickly. I'll do more tutorials later where I break this down better for you to see how I draw it. But when I'm drawing, I'm always just thinking about the basic shape of the muscles that are underneath the skin. So I call it drawing from the inside out. You're drawing those shapes underneath, and you're just drawing around those objects, and then thinking about slowly how you might use your line weight and your marks for your tone to kind of create that form. I decided that my orc needed a kind of Mohican. Every right orc needs a decent Mohican, so off I added it. But still, when I did that, I tried to create a front of the Mohican and tried to think about the side, and I only used a few lines to suggest the flow of the hair. I'm really just going in the detail. Again, I'm using lines to just go around the forms and the shapes, like the bumps and lumps of his head. So I'm just trying to show those bumps and lumps really quickly, just with a really quick kind of little line drawing. It's just a bit of fun. It's not supposed to be too serious. A little bit of tone work or line work just to bring the head forward. So thinking about a car shadow from my light source. I'm trying to make sure my light source is always coming from the same side. Again, I'm not just doing too picky. I'm just kind of having a bit of fun with it and just pulling the bits together. My orc, as you can see, has got some scars. So he's got a bit of a hole in his head, and he's got a hole in his chin and things like that. That's very orcish, I think. So it's just adding a little bit of detail and a bit of fun to it. Even on that hair now, I'm thinking about a light source coming from one side, so you see me just dropping in some tone work to think about it as an object, so I'm just suggesting its form again. As I start building the rest of the figure, again, each muscle, the chest muscles, the abdominal mass, the arm muscles, things like that, I'm just always thinking about them as objects, really, and I'm just trying to take a light source from one side and just suggesting. I'm trying to use my line work just really quickly. It's only a doodle, but I'm still trying to use my line work in a direction that helps keep some volume. So they're trying to go around the muscles. The direction of your line becomes quite important at this stage. You'll also see what I'm doing is just lining in over my lighter original line. So if I was doing this in pencil, I'd probably just penciled in lightly. I would have used rubber to lighten my lines out, and I would go back over the lines to darken it out a bit. On my axe shaft, you'll see the the handle of the axe, you'll see that I add those little lines. That's just trying to create a bit of texture for the woodwork, just to make it a bit more interesting. Again, I'm thinking about cast shadows for the fingers, how the finger shadows are on the axe handle, and also I'm thinking about when I'm doing the fingers, you'll see me putting a little bit of shadow or tone work over as each finger overlaps each finger. Again, just making sure my light source is always coming in from the same sides. As I'm drawing these leg muscles now, you'll see me picking out the shapes. This creates, again, a sense of drawing from the inside out, where I'm thinking about the muscles, just like a human's muscles, on those leg muscles. And I'm drawing each of those shapes in, so it gives me something to sculpturally kind of make my marks around. Including drawing those kneecaps, thinking about the floating bone of the knee, and thinking about the top and the bottom of that knee. So I'm always thinking about the shapes. The basic shape for a feet are a kind of triangle. I'm kind of working on the feet now. I've kind of clipped it in this shot, sorry about that. But even with those triangle feet, I'm still thinking about the light source, and one side is darker than the other side. I think there isn't much left. I'm just picking out little bits of detail. It's only supposed to be a little line drawing, a doodle, a bit of fun. That's the point of drawing. So I'm just picking out some different bits, keeping some little bits of detail, and of course a little bit of splatter on my axe, because he's been having a good time probably fighting some dwarves. Anyway, that was my quick little drawing of an orc. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you want more of these, then just tell me and I'll see if I can sort them out. Thanks. Remember to go to the website, turnipstarfish.co.uk.